deserves a crown.
Earth frequency, creating a soothing effect on the human psyche. In contrast, music tuned to 440 Hz is criticized for lacking harmony and these natural patterns, potentially contributing to stress, emotional imbalance, and disconnection from the natural world. The difference between these two frequencies.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look into the sounds that are in the typical rap beats nowadays. And I'm wondering, is there truly a connection? Because even down to how people would say in a spiritual way, are we summoning like otherworldly entities through this music, right? Is the vibrational frequency patterns that come from these sounds, are those actual doors and portals? Possibly. For those who are also spiritually in tune, not just scientifically in tune. Let's keep going.
Though small, is claimed to significantly impact listeners, with 432 Hz music described as a warmer, clearer, and more comforting, while 440 Hz is perceived as colder and more sterile. The 528 Hz frequency, often referred to as the love frequency or miracle tone, holds a special place in the world of healing and spiritual development.
And that's why, for example, like in China, places like that, or Africa, a lot of places, the drum or like the gongs, right? Hit that big gong. That's a vibrational thing, like you see with the Buddhists. And they believe that as if you hit it, if you like the actual sound that the vibrations give is supposed to help them enter into a state of like nirvana, hopefully. So it's all about trying to like achieve like that high state, right? So, but let's keep going. So as you can see with this design that they have, now some practices it's 9 points, but most is like 6 points, and each point operates different functions of your geo, but all of it is working just like an engine does in sync. That's why the car is able to move. Let's keep going.
Part of the ancient solfeggio scale, this frequency is renowned for its ability to bring about positive changes in the human body and mind. Dr. Leonard Horowitz, a proponent of the power of sound in music and healing, emphasizes the extraordinary properties of the 528 Hz frequency, particularly its potential to repair human DNA. This frequency is said to resonate with the core of the sun and is intrinsically linked to life itself. It is believed to stimulate the body.
Fair use. Fair use. Fair use.
Natural healing processes, promoting inner peace and deep healing. Many people who use this frequency in their daily practices report feelings of increased peace, clarity, and well-being. The 528 Hz frequency is also thought to have a remarkable effect on water, crucial given the human body's high water content.
Now, as I was speaking of before, when it comes to the water aspect, how many of us have actually recognized how, I guess you can say, soothing the sound of like when you're like by like a lake or river, right? And that creek running. And it's almost like it's playing its own tune. Those of us who really take the time to like, I guess you can say, stop and smell the roses of life. If you really listen to the sound of that water flowing, it actually then creates its own aquatic acoustic, if you would say. Let's keep going.
Experiments in somatics have shown that water exposed to this frequency restructures itself into beautiful, harmonious patterns, suggesting that 528 Hz music can harmonize the water within the human body, promoting healing and balance at the cellular level.
The A440 is what now is the standard tuning. If you go A439, you're closer to one of the creator's tones. If you go A441, you're closer to one of the creator's original tones. That's how precisely it has been manipulated. To do what? To shut down the 95% of your brain, particularly the right brain that operates the heart mind, the divine.
So with music nowadays, if you think about it, from hip hop to pop music, almost all of it, country, all of it, right? These hurts in music overall have changed. Now, I noticed that there is a direct connection between the human body functioning. I'm talking about when we keep thinking we're seeing all these mental cases. Yes, there are people who just have certain conditions they were born with, head injuries and or drug use, things of that nature, right? But I was thinking about this, like if we take the hood, for example, if you take all of the natural sounds that we are accustomed to hearing, and like I'm talking about like the ghetto, like the hood, the projects, they're accustomed to the sounds of gunshots going off at any moment. Hertz and frequencies come from the sound of the bullet whistles, right? Okay, boom. And just the bang of the gun. People screaming, continuous voices, loud voices, right? The sounds of cars beeping, horns. Get out of my way, watch out, F you. All of these sounds that we are accustomed to hearing, I believe, is just as an addition to why we have such a high cancer rate. The actual sounds of a bad environment can actually bring about physical. Like, why do you think they say we pass away from stress? Your environment is the stressful place. So now, more so than like, yes, it is also a contributing factor, the food and things of that nature. But I never really made that much of a connection of the behavioral aspect as well as the health, physical aspect of all of this when it comes to just sounds. Let's keep going.
Human community. Let me give you the fundamental, the rudimentary origin of the numbers. Here it is. The most important numbers, 3, 6s, and 9s. Again, Tesla.
Those numbers are so amazing. Like, if like times, like when you do multiplication in threes, the sequence that you can, it's a very interesting thing. The number 6 is also very interesting because 6 is, like I said, how they believe the number of chakras we have. And it also is supposed to be the representation of completion, right? Like 6 days, 7 the rest. 9 is actually the number of reoccurrence, like when the world spins in a 360, right? So if you take 3 plus 6 plus 0, what does that equal? 9. But you know what's also crazy is that a half a turn by degrees is a 180. 1 plus 8 plus 0 equals 9. 9 is the only number that no matter how many times you multiply it, it would always equal 9. You can always try it for yourself. I spoke about it before. You take 9 times 2, 27. 2 plus 7, it always goes back to 9. Doesn't matter what you multiply it. Add up the answer that you get, and it'll go right back to 9 every time, all the way up to 4 to 5 digits. Let's keep going.
Create a Tesla coil. Tesla coils, energy amplifiers. Your DNA is an energy amplifier, a coil, operating by the 3, 6s, and 9s primarily. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you've probably looked at engines or motors, magnets that have been wound with copper wire. When you do that, when you wind the copper, coil the copper around the magnet, it enhances the energy dramatically. That's what your DNA is. It's an antenna to the Creator. Every single cell of your body.
And this is why I like to make the correlation that there is no separation. We are to use science to prove God's realness, not use it to discredit the existence. So, just like how the man just said, when it comes to that coil, so you saw how he did it with the light. Boom, that light came right on, and it was very bright. I always speak about it. I say we must be in tune, but we must keep what? Our antennas up. You actually can disrupt the signal of, I would say, the angels or the messages. You always have actual otherworldly messages that come to you all the time. I'm not trying to get too spacey on you, but it's a real thing. When you're not in tune, your antennas, because of the sounds and the things that go on around you, it disrupts. Just like tuning a radio. You know how you get that staticky part? Or if you're driving a certain section, now what? The antenna, the signal. Look at it like that from a spiritual sense, placed into a scientific aspect, right? Now let's keep going.
Has this energy capability. It has this divine intelligence. What does that mean? That means the first entities that you should be communing with in order to uplift yourself, sustain yourself, heal yourself, is the billions of cells in your body that have its own unique genetic intelligence, its own sacred spiral to the Creator. And so this is the structure of the way that the universe operates, which does fabulous for us, our understanding of some of the most wonderful pieces of information to allow us to live a faithful life, a life according to the law, according to the matrix. Here is the simple way to analyze this. You've heard of what goes around comes around. You've heard of as you sow, so shall you reap. So this explains it. Let's say that you're here and you are putting out negative thoughts, negative behaviors, negative actions. It's all energy. The neurology in your brain's powerful. 86% of you is God water.
In meditation,
Yes. Absolutely beautifully put. Yes. 80% of our brain is, yes, God water. Now, it's such a very complex thing, like the human mind. I mean, how it works, because see, I said keyword mind, not brain. See, there's the brain, then there's the mind. The brain is how you function. If you have brain damage, then you're can't move your hand or something, maybe paralyzed, things of that nature. The mind is where the imagination, where your thoughts and all of the things you dream about and picture, what you imagine. That's the mind. You see, and the mind is the part that actually taps into our loving Creator. That's where the spirit and the mind are more so connected. The brain is the physical aspect in which we blink, chew, walk, and talk. Let's keep going.
in spiritual practices, the 528 Hz frequency is used extensively to foster deep relaxation, assist in meditation, and facilitate a connection to the higher self or a higher state of consciousness. It is also associated with love and the heart, opening up the heart chakra and allowing individuals to experience